First story. My wife says I ruined her life after I paid for her college, took care of our kids in-house, all while preparing my master's, and provided for the whole family, including her mom, when all she did was stare at her phone and humiliate me by comparing me to her ex in bed. I'm 43 and try to do my best to provide for my wife, F38, and 2 kids, 3 and 5, as well as my mill. I would like to think I am doing a decent job. Over the years, I have worked to improve our family's living situation. Not only did I complete another bachelor's and recently a master's in a STEM-related degree, but I also worked 2 full-time jobs while completing my second bachelor's and put my wife through school as well. She completed a degree where she could make good money, $60-70K per year, in a healthcare field that always has jobs available. But with the birth of our 2 kids, she has since given up on her career to be a parent for the time being. At first, it was a struggle while I was finishing up my master's. Once I completed it, after our youngest turned 3, my career took a jump, and we are now able to afford our single-income household in a more feasible manner. We're far from rich, but that's okay for a single-income family of 4. A little north of 150K base plus bonuses the past year. Life was overwhelming for my wife, so even though I now work 75% from home, I budgeted to hire a daytime nanny to help her around the house with one child while the other is in school. Now, my day starts every day around 5:36 a.m. I get the house ready for the day before the nanny comes at 8 a.m. I get our oldest up and ready for school, make breakfast, plan out my day, and bring our oldest to drop off. I am home in time to let the nanny in. My most recent task at work has me grounded for the next 2 months, meaning I am now 100% WFH. While this is nice, I am busy in meetings all day, as my role manages teams on a global scale, as I oversee projects in my industry. For the past 1.5 months, I realized my wife, as much as she says her life is stressful at home, starts at 10 a.m. I asked my mill and nanny if this was always the case. After a week or so of WFI, women's fancy internet argument, they both responded more or less, sometimes earlier, sometimes later. My wife literally wakes up, cooks, then scrolls through her phone or shops from home. Which brings me to my gripe. I am glad I am able to provide her with that sort of life since we both grew up lacking in means. I get the possibility of postpartum depression, the stress of having kids, the feeling of being unfulfilled, the fact that I probably am a shy husband. But for what it's worth, everything is taken care of and then some. I manage the house's finances. She claimed she was too busy to do so, pay all the household bills, pay my own personal bills, pay her bills, track and perform all the upkeep of our house, appliances, cars, pets, etc., and I also help pay for my mill's medical bills and car note. But apparently, my life is easy compared to hers. I can't decompress from her because it seems like she always feels the need to wake me up. I had a bad day, but she had it worse because I'm lucky. I got to go away and work. My feet hurt from walking all day during work travel, which is nothing compared to her standing and cooking with a child clinging to her. For the past 2 or so years, I've been told I ruined her life, her opportunities, etc. But when I reminded her of what she said, she denied it and dodged accountability. My mill has brought me aside and stated she's noticed a change in both myself and my wife. I have a greater attachment to my kids, and hell, I've hugged the dogs and talked to them more about my life than to my wife. I honestly feel like I am in emotional survival mode, as I'm one step away from moving up the career ladder and one step away from finding love and comfort at the bottom of a whiskey bottle. I'm sure I'll be hearing from the manly men of Reddit about how I'm feeling, but I'm not a machine. I just want to know and feel that someone I prioritize aside from my kids appreciates and loves me for what I do. I'm sure I'll hear from the stay-at-home moms on Reddit, which is fine. I grew up in a single-parent mother household. It's not easy, and honestly, with the help of her mother and a nanny Monday to Friday for one toddler while another child is at school, can you honestly tell me she's having the typical stay-at-home mom experience? Because neither my friends nor colleagues who are single parents can say she is. I'm sure the masses of holier-than-thou Redditors will consider this a poorly written fanfic, but it is what it is. TLDR, long story short, it feels as if my wife has checked out of our marriage, and we're only roommates, so she can still reap the benefits of marriage. I'm not asking for her to throw herself at me all the time and let me do whatever I want. I really just want to be told I'm doing well, and just offer me some form of emotional comfort as simple as a hug. But I guess, as the man who ruined her life, I deserve it. Update number 1. In the same post, thank you for the replies. To add more context. 1. I never cheated. I do work in an industry that has a large female population, but I'm literally an open book with work colleagues and staff under me. She has access to my work agendas and correspondence if she really wants to snoop. 2. We, as a whole family, her parents and mine, have tried to get her to go to therapy, but she refuses or skirts around the issue. 3. Aside from coming from a single mother household perspective, my biological dad was present in my life. She has had both parents in a reportedly loving marriage for over 40 years. 4. I have tried to talk to her about everything and my own feelings, but again, one-upmanship tends to be the trend here. 5. What I am getting out of the marriage was asked. Now, aside from my 2 beautiful kids, I've been asking myself the same question. We have had a near non-existent sexual life, mainly since last year. I always figured maybe it's part of depression or whatever she may be going through. Maybe I'm just not attractive enough or just horrible in bed because of my health conditions. 6. I'll give credit where credit is due. As I don't want to sound biased, when I say she wakes up and cooks, I mean she cooks for everyone in the house, myself, kids, Mill, and even a nanny. Aside from breakfast, she cooks all meals and snacks. I typically fast until lunchtime, and our oldest tends to eat a small, simple breakfast in case they don't like what school serves that morning. She does load both the kids and her laundry but seldom folds and puts them up. I typically do my own laundry, and the rest of my clothes I dry clean because they're work clothes. 7. She does keep track of our pantry and fridge, but after she makes the list, I'm the one who goes out and buys everything if it's not delivered. She does clean our bathrooms and house 50% of the time. The other 50% is done by either Mill, myself, or sometimes a nanny if she feels like being extra helpful. 8. Prior to becoming a nanny, my mother-in-law was the main help for my wife up until she had unexpected medical needs. So, I opted to hire a nanny to help them both, more so when Mill is having treatments and recovery. Update. I'm not sure if anyone would read this, but thank you to those who have reached out and chit-chat. While I know I've kept my newfound friends here updated, I figured I'd just update my post and keep it short. I showed my wife my post the following weekend, and she read it and all the comments. Long story short, after an argument, she left our house to stay with her sister, and I've been a single parent since. It's sad to say that, aside from the good nights to our kids, it's all pretty much the same routine. There is nothing much else to say other than thank you for all the kind words of encouragement. I just need to add that this post got bigger than I expected from a venting post, but I've responded to a few comments nonetheless. Thank you for the comments and DMs, and more so for the offers to let me ruin your life. It's been the highlight of my day and night as I sit here drinking with my dog while everyone else is asleep. It feels depressingly sad that I feel I have to turn to random internet strangers for some sort of validation in my rant. My apologies in advance as I try to keep this as vague as possible. Update. First off, thank you for all the comments and DMs. Some context and clarification since, admittedly, my post was emotionally charged since I typed it up after another argument. Post-birth, our pediatrician's office gave my wife those postpartum depression screening forms, and during the time of both, she scored pretty high and was suggested to see a therapist. With our second child, she scored significantly higher, and we, or I should say, I, made an effort to get her the help she needs, but she refused. So, she asked her mother-in-law and nanny for support. I know what people will say or think, but this is one of the reasons I am not 100% ready to just give up and file our lives away. I know silently suffering in the near and long run of our kids' future will not add to a healthy atmosphere, but neither would a bitter and hate-filled divorce. I know some have compared it to ripping off a bandage, saying it'll hurt at first, but that pain goes away. But I'd rather try to spare my kids thinking that their parents ended up hating each other because of them, or something along those lines. I've given a few people I talked to in DMs since my last post a little more insight into my personal life. Prior to my promotion, I was the PM managing teams and budgets, so out of habit, I planned for a lot of what-ifs. That being said, I made a number of contingency plans if, sadly, things went south. So, yes, I have talked to a lawyer. 3. actually, to know our rights and what each of us is entitled to. I have a draft settlement created and am on hold until I feel I need to use it. I know what I want and I'm willing to offer more than what is fair for our kids' well-being. But I also have a plan if we end up going to court. If it's 100% on me that I'm suffering in silence, but am too stubborn to just give up. So while I am venting, I don't expect anyone to feel sorry for me. I endure it to keep the norm. Our kids know. Ensure my Mills treatments go uninterrupted, and of course, hope my wife will finally be open to giving therapy a shot and climbing together to a better place. Thank you all again. I just wanted to update those who have been kind enough to check up via DM and comments. Apologies in advance for the lengthy post. It's a bit of irony and coincidence that I followed up on the update on May 6, 2024. I made my original post during Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, but I could really use another outlet outside of my therapist. My apologies if this isn't the storybook ending or destruction of a relationship people were hoping for. To save you some time, my wife left. It came back like nothing happened. She made it about her. Nothing's changed. I'm continuing to suffer mentally, knowing nothing will change, while trying to keep it together for our kids. Lots of takeout the day after she packed up and left. My wife attempted to come back and take the kids with her to her sister's. Naturally, I was against this, and thankfully, so was her whole family, including her sister. Not only was it not fair to our kids for her to sweep them away into a home that's not theirs, but to put that financial and housing stress on the rest of her family since she doesn't work, and her sister and her family, husband and 3 kids, stay with their dad in the house they grew up in. After a little over a week of being away, I guess she cooled off. So she just decided that it would be fine if she walked in the door with her bags as if she just came back from Target. She came into my office while I was working and angrily stared at me while I sat on a conference call, meeting with my team, and I couldn't just jump off as this is a busy time of the quarter for us. I guess that didn't sit well with her because once I took off my headset and closed my laptop, she started yelling at me about how much I really don't care about her or her overall well-being. At that moment, I couldn't do anything more than look at her and just shake my head. My mother-in-law came in after hearing my wife yelling and pulled her away, telling her not to bother me while our nanny kept our youngest away from it all on the other side of the house. That night, after the kids were put to bed, I sat in my office by myself with a drink as I have been doing for the past few nights, and my wife came in. We talked, we argued, we cried, we drank. One thing led to another, and we were in bed. I wish I could say that was our making up, but the next sobering morning, as we lay there, she went on about how hard it was for her. The time she was gone. Literally, it was about her struggles staying at her family house in her old room with her dad and sister's family. How lucky I am to be able to stay here and do this and that and buy this or do that, and not stress as much as they did. How easy my, and everyone else's in our family, lives are compared to hers, even though we had similar upbringings. My mind and heart broke that morning. I've been spiraling down since then, and this past week, I made another attempt to reconcile and talk things out, but I was met with a shouting match while trying to express my current stress and anxieties with life and work in general. Wife, well, do you know how hard this is all for me? You're supposed to help me, be happy, me. So, when it comes to my happiness, stress needs, and overall well-being, FK me, get over it, right? Wife, we all have our own problems. You need to figure them out and get over them. I don't know who the woman I am at home with is, but that wasn't the woman I married and vowed to spend my life with and raise our kids together. Since that conversation, I've been noticeably distant from her. I've been sleeping in my office on the couch, or with my kids in their beds after putting either one of them to sleep. It still doesn't change her starting her day at 10 a.m. and sitting on her phone, talking to her mom between cooking meals, with the kids in both her mother-in-law's and nanny's care. Nothing has changed, and I doubt that anything will change. Sadly, I think even if we got a divorce, nothing would change or feel different anyway, since during my wife's leaving, the days seemed like any other day, except with a little more takeout than usual. My main fear isn't that I would just lose my wife. I'd lose my kids in the process. So, I guess it's sad to say the grand finale to my story, with like a lot of men and some women. I've talked to her, and I'll just continue to smile and suffer in silence. Edit. A deleted comment history was found by a commenter from his comment history. I've been struggling with ED, erectile dysfunction, since my late 30s and early 40s. For a while, I thought I had low testosterone or that it was due to I got healthier, lost weight, lowered my blood pressure, got off the medications, and when that didn't work, I got consultations from a few urologists and endocrinologists. I did test for low T, testosterone, and I got on hormone therapy. It somewhat worked, but a few of the urologists highly suspect I have a penile venous leak. After talking to quite a number of experts in the field and looking for alternatives, I actually found a combination of both medication, Trimix, and devices that honestly made me harder than in my 20s and early 30s. Even though this combination gets me good to go within 10 to 15 minutes, which is usually focused on foreplay with my wife. For the rest of 2021 and early 2022, we were having some of the best sex of our marriage, almost daily. Then, one day after sex, she tells me she doesn't feel happy with it because it's unnatural that I have to take these steps to just make love to her. She then compared me to her ex in bed. I laid there next to her in silence and just turned away. My brain broke that night. Second story. My daughter called off her wedding with her fiancé, saying that she was in love with her pen pal. It turns out he is a convicted murderer who killed his ex and is serving a life sentence, so I refused to allow them to get married. Now she went and presumably saw would be the correct word here with me. How can I get custody of my grandchild? I'm concerned for my child. Yes, she's an adult, but I feel like she's making the worst decision for herself. I don't approve of it all. My daughter had good things going on for herself. She graduated high school, went to college, graduated with her associates, got accepted into dental school, and all of this is going down the drain because she's chosen to invest her time and energy in her soulmate. About a year ago, my daughter started writing letters to prisoners as a pen pal to keep them company. At first, I was uncomfortable with the idea for many reasons, but it never crossed my mind that she'd fallen for a criminal. I still rented a P.O. box for her so she wouldn't give out her address. My daughter was in a healthy relationship with her now ex-fiancé. They've been together since her senior year of high school. They just had their first child over a year ago, expecting another, and they got engaged 6 months ago. A month ago, my daughter told me that she and her fiancé were taking a break, and 2 weeks ago she called off the engagement and left him. He's a complete wreck. He told me that it hurts that the family he created with my daughter is now broken, and he feels so blindsided, as do I, because I believe my daughter was truly in love, but she wasn't, and she wasn't happy. I've been very supportive of my daughter during this whole situation. That is until she told me she was already in a new relationship. I was taken aback, and I obviously started questioning her about it, and she confessed that she had fallen for one of the prisoners she's written to. In fact, they've been together for 3 months. It makes me sick to my stomach even typing this out right now because I just can't believe it. She said they've been in contact for almost 8 months, and since then, they've fallen more and more in love with each other. She's visited him multiple times. In fact, she's even taken my grandson to see this man. She's shown me pictures of them embracing and him holding my grandchild. I've done some research and looked up his charges, and I'm livid. She even brought my grandson and even herself around someone who could do such horrible things. I'm terrified for my daughter and grandson. I've tried expressing my concerns to her, but she's in a whole other world. She told me the last in-person visit they had, and he popped the question, and she said yes. That's when I snapped. I was and am very pissed about this whole situation, and she's hurt that I'm not supportive of her decisions. She defended their relationship and her choices, and we started arguing. It got so bad that now she's not speaking to me or allowing me to see my grandbaby, and it breaks my heart. I love my child, but I will never approve of this relationship. I understand that as an adult, she has the right to make her own choices, and I've always been proud of her independence. But as someone who truly loves her deeply, it's hard for me to watch her make a decision that I feel could be harmful to herself and my grandson. I'm scared for her because of what I've learned about this person's past, and I can't shake the fear of what could happen. I don't want to lose her or my grandchild to a situation that seems so risky. I don't know what else I can do, and I feel so hopeless. Please, what else can I do? TLDR. I'm worried because my daughter, who's achieved so much, is throwing it all away for a prisoner she fell for while being a pen pal. She's left her fiancé for him, and it's hard for me to stomach or support this decision. Relevant comments. Taran. I would personally give all the information you have on the new guy to the ex and implore him to get to family court immediately and fight for full and sole custody of the kids. You can't stop your adult child from ruining her life and putting herself in danger, but you can assist in getting your minor grandchild away from this situation and from her poor decision-making. She may hate you for doing this, but the safety of the child is more important than her clouded feelings right now, and maybe the courts threatening to remove her child might be the wake-up call to stop the foolishness. C32. Is the former fiancé fighting for custody? How does your daughter plan to support her two kids? Hopefully, the ex will be able to make sure the kids are safe and get CPS involved if they are not. I have a feeling that the exhaustion of single parenting a newborn will have your daughter coming to her senses soon. How much longer is her partner in jail? Her ex-fiancé still doesn't know about her new relationship. When my daughter ended their relationship, he felt completely blindsided because he didn't see it coming. No one did. If he knew she was in another relationship, especially with a criminal, it would be a living nightmare. For privacy reasons, I will not give out any names. He's currently serving a life sentence. He could get out early due to parole and has a history of domestic abuse and breaking protective orders. In later replies, Opie reveals that the daughter's new beau is in prison for stalking, violation of protective order, and murder. Mostly that last one. Kid and Scout 4370. A life sentence. You need to explain this to your daughter now before you take legal action to gain sole custody of the father. She needs it spelled out on paper how this person is literally dropping an atomic bomb on her life, while literally being locked up. I would ask her questions like, how can you marry someone you have never seen interact with or function in a legitimate, real society? Why is she so quick to not look into his past? How can you marry someone you have never seen interact with another person? How can you bring your children around someone who is in for life? I know you aren't sharing, but did this dude kill someone? This is the craziest post I have ever read. Please update us, and I am sorry this is happening. Update, 2 days later. I wanted to start off by thanking everyone who took the time to give me some advice. After receiving a lot of comments with suggestions on how I should handle this situation, I went ahead and told the father of my grandchildren about what's been going on. He was my soon-to-be son-in-law, and I've grown to love him as if he were my own. I believe he has every right to know about the well-being of his children. So, I confessed everything to him. Thankfully, I have a family therapist who is a very close friend of mine. She's been here with us since the divorce between me and my ex-husband. I called her. We spoke about the situation, and she agreed to guide me to tell the kid's father. I called him over to my home, and we all had a very long talk. I let him know everything, and he broke down crying hysterically. It was horrible. He felt so violated, not only as a partner to her, but as a father to their kids. I made it very clear that I would support him no matter the circumstances. At this point, it's not only about my daughter, but also my grandkids. We discussed the charges against my daughter's new fiancé, and he was beyond livid. He actually suggested taking my daughter to court, and I agreed with him that it would be the best thing to do. We came to an agreement that he wouldn't tell my daughter what he knew. That way I could get more information to help him plead his case. But yesterday, things hit the fan. I received some angry text from my daughter, and it didn't end well. Text is transcribed as D equals daughter, M equals mom, OP. D, daughter mom. Why aren't you answering me? M, mom, I'm sorry. I couldn't answer the phone. I was driving, and my phone wasn't connected to Bluetooth. D, what's wrong? Babe, is everything okay? M, redacted. D, why do you hate me so much? What the heck is wrong with you? Why are you going out of your way to tell my business to redacted? M, redacted. Babe, I love you, but please don't speak to me like this. D, the freak do I need to be calm for? All you do is stress me out. I'm 7 months pregnant and high risk, and you want me stressed for what? M, redacted. I don't want you to be stressed, and I don't want to be the reason for it. D, so why the heck are you telling, redacted, my business? M, what do you mean? D, he's been blowing up my phone all night long. He called me again on his break this morning and said you brought him to see Dr. Redacted and told him that I've been cheating on him throughout our relationship. You told him about Redacted and that I've been letting him around Redacted. M, what is wrong with you? D, Redacted, honey, there's nothing wrong with me. I understand why you're upset, But baby, this man is a very dangerous criminal. M. He's doing life for a reason. He murdered his ex. He abused her, and she wanted to get an order of protection against him, and he violated all of it. D. Oh my God. M. I love you and redacted with all my heart, and I can't imagine a life without you both. D. You're such a narcissistic facepalm emoji. M. Redacted. I'm asking you to please be respectful. I don't deserve to be spoken to like this. D. In reply to AM, there's nothing wrong with me. I understand why you're upset, but babe, this man is a very dangerous criminal. M. Dangerous? You don't even effing know him. D. He wasn't found guilty. He took a plea deal. He still has life, but can still get out on parole. He did this to avoid getting life without parole. You don't understand any of this stuff? M. He still killed someone. Why are we not addressing this? He's a murderer. D. No, he's not. He's a victim who needs to defend himself. M. Defend himself? He was a grown man beating on a woman. D. So, men can't be victims of abuse? M. The DB would start fights, hit him, and play victim in the end. It was a whole cycle. D. Can we not do this over text? Please answer your phone. M. No, I don't want to. We can talk through text or don't have to talk at all. M. What is your issue? D. My issue is with you going behind your daughter's back. M. I'm your kid. You should have my back. D. I do have your back, but I also care for the livelihood of my grandchildren. This situation is unhealthy and unsafe for children. You, as an adult, can do whatever you please, but when children are being put in these toxic situations, action needs to be taken. D. Oh, so you agree with redacted that I'm an unstable, unfit mother? M. You've changed. You have become such a nasty individual, and it's upsetting that as my only daughter, you treat me this way after everything I've done for you. D. Yeah, I have changed. I had a effing baby. I went through postpartum by myself. Redacted. Would see me struggling and didn't do stuff. I was working to provide for my family. I had no emotional support. I was by myself, just me and my son. When I found out I was having a baby too, I was by myself. Yeah, redacted. Had a job and took care of us, but he wasn't there to help me. I was by myself. I found a man who, yes, made some mistakes in the past, but he's making up for them. He finished school, is allowing God to lead him in life, and he's positive. He respects me and pushes me to be strong. He motivates me and provides emotional support. I don't need a man's money because I make my own, but I needed love, and he provided that for me. I don't understand why you felt the need to go out of your way to disturb our peace, but I'm happy and very much in love with him, and I'm not leaving him. M. Look at how you're acting, redacted. You're spiraling. This man is no good. DG, GTFO. I'm tired of the back and forth. Face boom. I'm like, I told redacted, good luck taking me to court. Until then, you won't be seeing me, redacted, or the baby. For the sake of our mental health, you bring nothing but drama and negativity into our lives, and we'd be much better off without you. Please don't contact me, or you will be blocked. Post resume here. I called the children's father to ask him what the hell he was thinking, and he explained that he wasn't. He's been apologizing nonstop, but the damage has already been done. I'm at a loss for words. I'm devastated. I'm heartbroken. I've definitely lost my daughter and grandkids, and I don't know what else to do. I can't imagine not being a part of their lives, and it hurts me deeply. What did I do wrong to deserve this? Is there any way I could fix this? Relevant comments. Trish. I guarantee this guy has other women on the hook. Why not? He's got nothing going for him and will never see the light of day again. Maybe it's possible to hire a PI who can find out if there are others. At some point, she's going to miss being touched, dates, hugs in the morning and at night. Just be there when she crashes because she will. That's all that you can do. I'm so sorry. Trifle minute. Keep supporting the father. He will get them eventually, and you can still be grandma. Your daughter was lost before you even posted. She may come back, but keep in touch with her dad. Good luck, OP. He, the father, feels really guilty for my daughter's reaction, but I believe it was only a matter of time before she was going to crash out. At this moment in time, I'm worried for my grandson. It makes me question if my daughter can get so angry with me over something like this. How angry can she get at my grandkids? 48839. Your grandchild's dad can still get custody. My daughter is making horrible choices. After reading her messages, I think it's possible my daughter was suffering from postpartum depression, and by getting pregnant again so soon, her body didn't get enough time to heal. Her hormones are all over the place, and her mental health is declining. She wasn't like this a year ago. She was a happy, respectful, caring soul, but all of that's changed, and I feel horrible. I wish I could have seen her behavior myself. I could have gotten her the help she needed right then and there.